Hi guys, today we're talking about the Scorpion Sentinel Vision card and Esper. Let's put the cards on the table right now. This is best in slot for Cloud. In fact, it's best in slot for any physical attack lightning team. So Frederica, Nivlu, and of course, Cloud. If you want to build your account around Cloud, you just got him, you've been saving for him, and you want him to be as strong as possible, you definitely should go for this VC. No need to look any further. If you're on the fence though, you're not sure you have the Viz or the resources to get it, don't stress out too much. This one does not provide anything that you can't get elsewhere. So it has slash resistance, that's super cool, but there's solitus for that. There's also alternatives for the other stats that the VC gives. So it's not like the Death Machine time limited VC, for example, where if you missed out on that one, well, you don't have access to AoE resistance for your party. This has nothing too unique, so don't stress about it too much. So, as I said, the VC is a physical attack lightning VC. It's going to be great for any of those characters. And the Esper is a high damage, it has super high attack, middling speed. It has slow resistance, which is cool, and it's really tailored towards lightning characters and slash attackers. So, you guessed it, that's really made for Cloud. If we look at the stats, they actually aren't that impressive. So the Scorpion Sentinel has 304 HP, which is low compared to other cards that provide attack up. It has 155 attack, which is really middling. It's not in anything you haven't seen elsewhere. It has 20 TP, which I guess is cute, but when do your physical attackers ever run out of TP, except maybe in tower content? So that's also not going to be super handy. So just looking at the stats, not a great VC. What really makes it good, though, are the abilities. Now, the individual abilities are kind of good, right? 10 AoE resistance is going to be very, very powerful on an attacker that's usually very squishy. Often, characters group up in War of the Visions and then take a Black Witch Helena's limit break to the face. That AoE resistance will help you survive, so it's just generally good, especially if you're using this character alongside a hate tank, because the only time they'll be hit normally, unless the hate has run out, is when they're caught in an AoE, so it's going to mitigate a lot of the incoming damage. It has a bit of crit damage. I've done a whole video on why I think crit damage sucks, but hey, 5, why not? It's a free stat. And then it has a global exclusive bonus that's going to be slash attack up and water resistance up. If I'm looking at previous bonuses that we've gotten in the past, I'm expecting these to be a value of 10, but I guess we'll see when the card is released. If it is 10 slash attack up, then that's good, a bit more damage for your clouds or whoever else is using that, and water resistance up is really just overkill at that point. Lightning teams should already have an edge over water teams, so I don't know that it's going to have a huge impact. Usually you'll win either way. Then the party ability is where all the meat's at. It's going to give you 50 attack up for your entire lightning team, which is just as much as the Ifrit vision card gives, so it's the highest type of buff you can potentially get from a vision card. Then on top of that, you get a crit rate of 13. Again, crits are not the highest damage thing in War of the Visions, but the extra crit rate is going to be great for a Cloud team because he has an ability that allows you to regenerate AP whenever you crit, so it makes it that much more reliable. And then the final ability is 20 slash resistance. We know slash and magical attacks are the most common within War of the Visions, and it gives you 20 resistance to one of those two types. That is going to be super handy in many matchups, including Cloud Mirror matchups. So again, another really good ability there. Now, if we take a look at the Esper, that guy has a lot of HP, crazy attack at 131, it's definitely in the top tier for Espers, and agility of 15 is okay, it's not great, we see Espers like Odin go all the way to 20, but it's still not the slowest, so that's alright. A little bit of slow resistance, and then weakness to earth, strength versus water, so really tailors into lightning units. And then the ability that this Esper has, its evocation, is actually very, very strong. A 275% mod missile attack lightning is going to do crazy damage, especially if this Esper is equipped to a character with a lot of lightning attack up and potentially missile attack up, because Esper's evocations use these stats that the character has. It's like an extra ability with a skin. That has a guaranteed hit, like a lot of those, and what it does after dealing damage is it decreases missile resistance for the unit, and then lightning resistance for everybody on the map that's your enemy. So your following attacks from your friendly Frederica or whoever else might be a lightning missile unit in your team is going to obliterate the enemy team. Let's also mention all your units for a certain time get 100% extra attack and magic. So it's actually one of those really good evocations with a long range, high damage, and that enables further turns. For a lot of PvE content where you have time and to stack up and plan around those evocations, I would bring the Scorpion just for that ability. It is crazy good. Now, let's talk about Esper nodes. If you try to go to the lightning attack on the left, you will grab 6% slash resistance, which is really fun. On the other side, you have the option to go for 20% missile resistance. Cloud is more of a guy that'll rush in the middle of the fight, so I don't know how much he needs that extra missile resist, but I guess it could be good. Let's also mention that if you're running a maxed out Frederica's Dream, you get another 20% missile resistance, so he could go for something super tanky versus missile if you're going that route. Then you have the option to get some lightning resist, I guess that's cute, but otherwise I think you'll want to focus more on the offensive nodes. You have a usual 25 lightning attack that could be very, very powerful. You could also go for some slash attack. I did say it was lightning and slash attack oriented, so these are some pretty good routes. This Esper has the typical 7 accuracy, which is useful, and then it could go for 7 crit rate. You also have the option for up to 9 crit damage, but I would avoid those, honestly. I think crit damage is usually a pretty sad stat, unless your crit rate is on the verge of being on 100%. Then, I mean, usual, you get some water killers, you could go for some machine killers, so depending on the content, that could be useful, but generally for anything that's really competitive, so kind of PvP scene, these won't be that useful. And then, yeah, you could also go the evocation damage route, but all that does is it increases the damage component from the evocation ability. It will not increase by how much you decrease missile resistance or lightning resistance or any of the other components. So usually, these are not necessary in my opinion. So let's talk about overall verdict. Obviously, this will be top tier for physical lightning teams if you're a fan of class matches manual, using Frederica at a distance, sniping down the enemy team. If you're a newer player, you just pull the Cloud and you want to make him as strong as possible so that he carries your account through content, you should go for that. The slash resistance component is always going to be good, and you get a little bit more of extra nice stuff compared to Ifrit, for example, or other attack up vision cards. But you don't need this. First of all, it is element limited, so if you're trying to run a team with several different elements using physical attackers, you're not going to run that VC. You'll put on Ifrit or Astrologer or another attack up VC instead so that it affects everybody. Astrologer is already best in slot for 9S, who's another lightning unit, so either you're going to overlap these two VCs and have two that provide you with some extra attack up, or you're going to have to replace that on 9S and use something else, but then he will be a little bit weaker and you'll lose out on Armor Piercer, which is a great ability. You also don't necessarily need the Esper for Cloud. You could be running Odin. He would be a little bit faster, hit a little bit less hard, but then the overall trade-off, I think, is very equivalent. So do I think players should go for that? Yes, I think it's a very strong VC, and I think for those that have a focus on Lightning, it's definitely competitive. But if you, for some reason, don't have the Viz saved up or can't afford to, don't stress yourself too much. You're not completely screwing up your account. A comparison I would like to make is the vision card Nier Automata for 2B. This card gives her an extra 30% attack, and it is what pushes it over the top. Without that card, 2B is not as competitive. That card was a must pull. This lightning card does not do as much of an impact. It is really good, but it won't be necessary to make Cloud good. You could make Cloud very good with something else, and it doesn't matter. So it's not a make or break VC compared to some others that were released in the past. So that was it, guys. On my end, I do intend to pull for it. Since I lucked out and got Cloud, why not build it? And then the VC is going to be super good for my Lightning Gunner team, which I still really enjoy to this day. So I am going to find uses for it for sure. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as per usual, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.